It's been one whole year since El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, first graced our Netflix accounts and our TV screens. For those who witnessed the incredible transformation of Walter White, who saw the meteoric rise and catastrophic fall of an entire drug empire, and most importantly, took every step on a journey so breathtaking that it became one of the best TV shows ever made. For those people, this was the event of the year. For some though, the movie follow-up didn't quite reach the same mark as its predecessor. Today I'm going to be taking a deeper look into one of the areas that proves that not only did it live up to the show, but it exceeded it. Spoilers ahead. So first off, let's take a look at how they cut Jesse towards the end of Breaking Bad. At the end, Jesse finally breaks free, both literally from the shackles the white supremacists used to keep him captive, and figuratively from the power Walter had over him.
What have you got in your life? Nothing. Nobody.
There are massive ramifications for every evil act Walter White commits, and arguably no one suffers more than Jesse Pinkman. Sure, he's complicit in a big majority of what happens, but Jesse is a misguided kid who, with the right guidance, could have taken the right path. Walter White did not show him that path, and in fact he drew him further and further away in the opposite direction, manipulating him into committing unspeakable acts. What starts out as a young kid making some bad choices ends up with a severely broken and tortured soul. We see this broken innocence represented in Felina, the final episode of Breaking Bad. Jesse reminisces about making a wooden box in his woodshop class in high school. Then, match cut. There are three main types of match cut: visual, movement, and audio. They can have different names depending on who you talk to, but the effect is the same. A visual match cut uses the framing and composition from one shot and cuts to another shot that has a similar composition. A movement match cut, sometimes known as a match on action, uses the action of a subject in the frame and cuts to another shot with the same movement. An audio match cut uses the audio from one shot and cuts to another shot with a similar sound. Each match cut can have a different meaning depending on the context it's used in, and among many other things, it can be used to infer a shared meaning between two shots. In Felina, editor Skip Macdonald uses a combination of a visual match cut and a movement match cut. As you can see, his body is framed the same across both shots, plus on his left side he is holding a similar sized object. This is the visual match cut. The compositions are very deliberately similar. On top of this, Jesse turns his body away from the camera in both shots, one starting the movement and the other finishing it. This is the movement match cut, or match on action. As Jesse turns away with his wooden box, we see him snap back into the real world. The match cut proves so effective in allowing us to understand his headspace. It's clear just by watching that Jesse is trying to think back to the days of his innocence, before all of the unspeakable events happened. However, the editing allows the viewer to feel this thought process as the character does. As Jesse is yanked back into reality, so are we. If we got rid of the match cut, for example, we would lose a lot of the impact of the two scenes. When we think about film language and how filmmakers communicate to their audiences, like with anything else, there's often reoccurring common themes. And it's important to remember this scene when we take a look at El Camino. So Jesse has just broken out of the compound and gone to the only place he can think of, Skinny Pete and Badger's house. It's clear to see Jesse is shaken to his very core. When he wakes up in the morning, we again see this theme of Jesse thinking back to a different time. This time though, the peaceful bliss he's remembering is one much more horrific that he grew to become accustomed to. Once he remembers where he is, we come to this shower scene where editor Skip Macdonald really excels. See if you notice the tools he uses to make this scene so effective. This time, we have the trifecta. First, we have the visual match cut. Jesse leans over the shower at Skinny Pete's and we cut to Jesse's forced shower at the compound, the visual composition of both frames matching closely. Secondly, we have the audio match cut. The light sound of the shower's water stream violently matches the sound of the forceful hose used by his captors. You could also call this a smash cut, as we cut from quiet to loud, two polar opposites, but we'll go into more detail on smash cuts in another video. Lastly, and this one was sneaky, we see a movement match cut. Notice this small jump right before we cut to the next shot. Whether it was shot on purpose or not, the editors found this small section from the footage where Jesse slightly moves forward towards the wall. You can see for a brief moment we actually cut forward to another section of the same shot, only for a few frames. And in this section, Jesse moves towards the wall just like he does in the next shot, making this match cut work so well and fire on all cylinders. The editing here proves so effective in communicating to the audience. We aren't just simply told that Jesse is dealing with the effects of being in captivity, and we are more than just shown it. Just like in Felina, we can directly feel how Jesse is feeling. The match cuts used here are a tool that let us into the darkest moments of Jesse Pinkman's journey. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to be doing a lot more like this in the future, so if you did enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'd love to know if you learnt anything new, what you thought of Breaking Bad, and what you thought of El Camino. I personally love it, so I perhaps have a little bit of bias there, but I really enjoyed the film and the series, and Better Call Saul as well. I'll definitely have some Better Call Saul videos in the future. So just again, I'd really appreciate any support you guys have, and have a nice day.